now we're enemies. He said Muslims cannot be friends with non-Muslims. My name is David Joseph Burke, but my Islamic name is Daud Yusuf. I'm from Australia and I'm 58 years of age. I grew up in a country town in New South Wales, Australia. My childhood, I had a wonderful childhood. Also, education-wise, I went to Catholic schools. My parents and family were very religious. During that time, I went to schools. I was an altar boy, which is an assistant to the priest. So my father was quite proud of me at that stage because I'm the youngest of 8. I was the only boy that finished year 12, which was the final year of school. I was the only boy that went to university. My father, when I graduated, had tears coming out. He was so proud to have a son that actually graduated from university. Australia has really great teachers, but a lot of these other countries, their education is not that good. Well, it's still good, but not at that high level like we do in Australia and other countries. So I just felt I needed to give that to other students, to give that education to students. So that was a reason why. And because I had travelled overseas before, I still had that travel bug inside, yes. I visited a lot of countries for holidays and work. So I did get that passion of learning different cultures, putting myself into situations that I could grow as a person. So I received the job offer through a sponsorship. I guess I was a bit hesitant about coming to Saudi Arabia because the media, the outside world didn't portray the perfect picture of Saudi Arabia. I had people warn me against going to Saudi Arabia, but I decided to do it. There was something that in my head and in my heart said, I must do this. Pushing me towards to come to Saudi Arabia. So when I first arrived in Saudi Arabia, I came from Bahrain over the border. So it was a strange feeling because when I left Bahrain, I had this feeling like anticipation. But when I went through customs, I couldn't believe how the Saudis were just so welcoming, so friendly. And it was like, I've never had this experience at any border in my life. Like I had the immigration officers come out and giving me high five and shaking my hand and welcome to Saudi Arabia. And it was just like such a warm welcoming. It was like, I am so happy, so pleased I did this. At first, when I drove into Sharjah, the desert was first. I'm thinking, wow, I'm really in Saudi Arabia, as in desert. Then when we drove into Sharjah, I was a little bit like, oh, it's a very small country town, how will I feel here? I started to realize then that a lot of people thought I was American. They'd come up to me and say, oh, you're American. I'd go, no, I'm from Australia. That just increased their, interest in myself, that I started really making a lot of friends, to the point where even a lot of my Saudi friends were texting me every day, we're going to meet tonight at BC or meet at View or at a coffee shop. So from that point of making friends, I then started to think about myself, about where I belong. What is going to make me happy apart from just having friends? And that's when I started thinking about Islam. I actually first heard about Islam when I was in India. But at that stage, I wasn't open. I'm a very open person. I was open to listening about Muhammad, learning about the Quran, but I still wasn't open to being a Muslim. The story of my conversion is started many, many years ago when I felt lost. There was something lost in myself. But once I got to Shagra, I met a man. I do believe his name was Abdullah, that I said, I want to learn about Islam. So he then took me to the Islamic Center and introduced me to everybody at the Islamic Center. Even as a non-Muslim, they were so welcoming. I'd sit down and have Arabic coffee with them, dates. I started feeling like, I love this family. I love this feeling of a family connection. So after working, every afternoon at 4 o'clock, I'd go to the Islamic Center. And then it was one night, I woke up, and I know a lot of people are going to find this strange, but I had a calling. And I still remember it was 2 o'clock in the morning. I suddenly woke up and it was like somebody pushing me that way to Islam. It was an incredible feeling. And so the next day, after working, I went to the Islamic Center. I said, I need to convert. I need to become a Muslim. They were just so delighted, so delighted. So I did the shadaha with the right finger, and I was converted to Islam. There was a big celebration that night. We went out to Abu Hisham's farm. From there I met Abdul Rahman al-Bigami, who, because nobody could speak English, but he could speak English very well. From then on, he became my mentor. Abdul Rahman al-Bigami taught me so much. His uncles, Sod and Khalid al-Bigami, they took me under their wing. They helped me learn the Fatiha. They even typed it for me. Every Thursday night, Abdul Rahman and I would go to their place to Khalid's for dinner. David, where are you up to? What can you say? What can you say? So not only I knew I had to impress him, but that also gave me inspiration that I must learn this. I've got to learn this. To be a good Muslim, I must learn this. But one thing I always say to people, I don't follow Muslims, I follow Islam. Islam is right, correct, and it's the only way. My family reaction, and like a lot of my friends' reactions, was not good. I had a lot of family who blocked me, who didn't want anything to do. I had a brother call me to say that now we're enemies. And I said, no, why would we be enemies? He said, Muslims cannot be friends with non-Muslims. And I said, we can. Of course we can. I'm your brother. But I did say to him, if hypothetically we become enemies, it's because you've chosen that, not me. I'm still your brother. I've just chosen this path. He blocked me. I converted to Islam. I guess it was my choice. Nobody pushed me. Nobody said you must, except one person, or one, Allah. I was so pleased that between Allah and myself that I converted to Islam in Saudi Arabia. Islam in Saudi Arabia is a bit different to other places in the world. The welcoming of the Saudis in Islam is incredible. When Saudis find out that I converted to Islam, they are so much more happier. They, mashallah, you know, alhamdulillah, they're just so happy. Where when I say it in other countries, it's like, welcome, that's it. Even when I went back to Australia and I attended the mosque, there was none of this feeling of brotherhood or family like there is in Saudi Arabia. So I look at Saudi Arabia as not only because of Islam, but because of their culture. Add that together, it's such a wonderful country, wonderful feeling.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
It's very hard to describe when I first saw the cover. It was quite emotional to know that here I am, here, where Islam started, the importance of Islam, the holy city of Islam. But I felt privileged and honoured to be able to do that because I have so many Muslim friends around the world that is their dream and they can't do it. Here I am, a new Muslim, getting the opportunity that some people don't get that opportunity. But the feeling, it's the same, similar feeling that I get the first prayer of the day, Fajr. When you walk out, you can't explain that feeling when you look up. That first prayer, you're awake. It's an incredible feeling. What impressed me with the local culture was I have been to many, many different countries. I've never met so many welcoming, generous, genuine people in my whole life. And even before I converted to Islam, just how Saudis just want to make you feel belonged, make you feel part of their life is wow. And one thing I did notice, which I was totally impressed about, is there is no homeless in Saudi Arabia. No homeless at all, because family is important. In Saudi Arabia, the family or the tribe is so important that whether somebody loses their money or has no food or the family put in to help that person. Well, that doesn't happen in other cultures, and even my culture in Australia. My next plan to live permanently is, I know I'm not Saudi, but in a way I feel Saudi because this is where my life happened, where I converted to Islam. Saudi is what I call my home. I have told a family member and friends, like, I'd be happy to die in Saudi Arabia. I know we've got to die, that's part of the life journey. But I really don't want to see myself leave Saudi Arabia.
If you have a choice now to choose one dish, Saudi dish.
Look, it would have to be kabsa with camel meat. I've never had camel meat in my life. Wow, it is so delicious. It's very tender, and I'm surprised to go out to the desert and have men cook this wonderful kabsa that's so tasty. The rice here is so different to the rice in India or China. It's just, the rice they cook here is so flavoursome. It's wonderful. But for some reason, when they have Saudi coffee, it's a gathering. It's wonderful. So it's got that not only lovely taste with dates, but that amazing feel of a community, a family. I have travelled to a lot of different places in Saudi Arabia. The only places I haven't been, which I want to, is southern, like Abha, Baha, Jizan. I haven't done that. But the rest of Saudi, I've been to. But I fell in love with Allah. Allah is something special. The people there are welcoming, but just like the rock formation, the whole ancient and old cities, there's something special about Allah.